think, yeah, he's top 3 all time on a 250. I mean, he's up there. You can't be much better than he's been, really.
No,
Can't.
he's been
Started
great.
winning early, never stopped getting better.
Hmm.
Kid is a special talent.
JB and AC. The energy was awesome. Those two are just like really finding their groove.
4 straight overall wins.
$100,000. Adam Cianciarulla. Checkered flag and Justin Brady.
Cianciarulla has won the 2019 Webb Moto Pro Championship.
He's gonna do it to become the oldest winner in the history of Supercross.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Another episode of the AC and JB show. Great weekend in St. Louis. One of the hardest tracks of the year, JB. And let's just start right here. We got to get into this KTM challenge because you were pulling double duty on Saturday. You had to leave like halfway through that segment with the RC for practice. We watched Bex go out there and race a killer ride through the pack. Not a great start, but you got to be happy with the ride.
You know what? It was a ton of fun. Yeah, I mean, it's nerve-wracking though. I will say it was nerve-wracking. I'd rather be in control and be on the motorcycle. And I've talked to a lot of parents about this that have kids that ride. And, you know, like when we were riding, and for you even, like we didn't really think about getting injured, or when you did get hurt, you're like, how quick can I get back on? You're literally in the doctor's office as you find out what you broke on the x-ray. All right, what's the timeline? Where am I at? 4 weeks, 6 weeks? When do I get back on the bike? And now that Beckham's riding and doing some racing, I'm like, man, every jump he goes over, I'm just like, oh, okay, yep, he's good. And the only thing you want is for him not to crash. But I guess he probably doesn't even think about it. So all in all, we had an awesome experience. It was a ton of fun. And I was telling Cole before we push record here today, like, you know, we've been to so many of these supercrosses and you see the KTM junior program, but it's much more than I even thought. They do such great work for the families and the kids, and they literally treat them like, I know we talk about it, but like factory riders for the day. They are absolutely that. And Beckham had a blast. Had a little crash on lap 1 right off the start. Guy cross-threaded right into him and they fell over, but came back to 4th. So we're good with that. We're all right. Top 5.
I feel like most former racers fall under one or two categories when it comes to their son riding. It's either they're never going to do it or we're all in. We're at the track. And I feel like you're a good mix of in between. You're kind of letting Beckham take the wheel, take charge, and he's been super into it lately. But is it difficult? Like I think about, you know, I want kids one day. We want kids one day. And I think about all the time, like, would I want to put my kid in a position to go through some of the things that I went through? And there's one side of it that is like dirt bikes have meant everything to me. I love it, and it's made me who I am. But then there's, you know, of course, it's a dangerous sport too. So how do you juggle that as a parent?
Well, it's really difficult, but I would say the easy answer to that is if they're really passionate about it, I think you have to let them do it. And then, you know, as far as going all in and or not, look, he's 8 years old, and for sure I'm going to let him steer the ship. I do not want to push him into it because we see that so much. And if you're pushed into something, you're probably not going to like it at some point. And I would say the number one thing is I want to have a great relationship with him no matter what he's doing. Like if he's riding motorcycles, okay, cool. And if I tell him something like, and he doesn't listen, okay, that's okay too. But I do think it'll change. You know, when he's 12 or 13 and he truly wants to do it, then yeah, like if you're going to do it, you might as well do it at a high level and at least try hard and all that. So it's a difficult situation, but I would say the biggest thing is if they're passionate about something. And you know what, you said it, Adam, like this sport teaches you so much about life, and life is not easy. It's hard. And everyone listening to this or watching this, life is really, really hard. And motorcycle racing's hard. And so I think it teaches kids at a young age, like through injuries, they're going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And then, okay, how do you rehab? How do you recover? Do you still want to get on the bike? Are you going to make the same mistake twice? And I think now with so many things that kids have access to through computers and phones and social media, man, put some gear on and go ride a motorcycle and learn some valuable life lessons. That's kind of the way I'm going about it.
It's a great point you made about the injuries, because I think back to when I was a kid, and I really didn't get hurt a lot as a young kid. But anytime I did break a foot or an arm or something, I never remember, as a 7 or 8 year old, I never remember crying because of the pain.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I'm like, 4 to 6 weeks? You got to be kidding me. It's so funny that we're like that. It's such a culture thing. Like going to the doctor, getting an MRI, getting a surgery. It's like part of our 9 to 5, it feels like.
I remember going to the neighbor's house when I was like 13 and asking him for a pair of tin snips to cut my cast off to make regionals for Loretto's.
Straight.
And
Dude,
like,
gotta do what you gotta do.
Totally fine with it. All good. Like, yep, this is what we do. And it's just like normal. I mean, I don't know. It sounds crazy to probably most people, but shoot, it has taught us a lot about life. And I think I know I've talked to a lot of people in business now, especially older folks that used to race, and there's no one better to hire than an ex-motocross or supercross racer. Work ethic, gritty, all the tangibles you need to be successful. So, yeah, all that to talk about an 8-year-old kid racing KTM juniors.
Well, I think the broader discussion about, the whole idea of you doing this for so long, and then your son doing it, you're aware of the danger. And me personally, it's like, of course, when I imagine having a son one day, I want to ride with him, but thinking of him kind of following in my footsteps, if that's what he wants to do, it's both very exciting and very scary. So I just wanted to pick your brain on that for a second. But
that's a great discussion. Yeah. Cause I've been around like 6 months now around these somewhat so-called amateur scene or local scene. And man, some of these dads, I've got to call it like I see it. Like, it's not realistic. It's not, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how some of the kids get treated from their parents, and not a fan of that.
And I've been on that. I know what that's like. And I think we sometimes look at these things a little bit black and white. Like, you can push everyone needs a push when they're young. You got no prefrontal cortex development whatsoever. You need to be pushed to get the most out of yourself, but you can push your son in a respectful way that doesn't mess them up for life.
Yeah.
It's far too often. I saw Paige repost something on her Instagram, your wife, a couple weeks ago maybe, about some incident at the local track with the dad was yelling at the kid, making him, hit these jumps or whatever it was. There's definitely
laying his hands on him. That's where I draw the line. You start grabbing your kids by the helmet and shaking, like, come on, like, that's crazy to me. I've seen it several times already. So.
Oh, I've seen it. Seen it.
Not good.
No, not good at all. But hey, moving on to Saturday, I thought that was one of our best RDL shows, and it starts with the set, dude.
Oh,
having the desk down on the track. I watched the open, the first couple practices back, like I usually do, and it just gives it a bigger event feel. It is kind of nice sometimes being up in the booth and kind of tucked away from everyone, but anytime we can be down on the track like that, dude, that was fun.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah, I mean, shout out to our crew, Ken Adelson and Doug Cabrera, making it happen. Look, and there's so many logistical nightmares that we don't even know about, and it was sort of a last minute call. They were kind of not wanting to make it happen, and then they were, and then it just, there's so many things that we don't even know, right? Or the fans don't know. Why couldn't you just be on the track every race? There's a lot of different things that, like I said, we don't even know about. So shout out to the crew, and obviously our producer Mark Coha on an amazing show, and everyone involved. It's crazy to be on this side of the fence now. Like, it's Lurch and Haley and yourself and I on camera most of the show, but people don't realize how many people are behind the scenes.
Takes a
There's
village.
so many people behind the scenes that make it happen, and yeah, we can't thank them enough. So I agree. I wish we could be there on the floor and in the mix, and it brings our vibe up, right? Like,
it does.
It has a big feel to it, and I think you and I being ex-racers, we love that type of pressure, and the bigger the moment, like we love that, and it feels like a big moment when we're behind the desk like that.
So press day, Friday, we walked down there. It was probably 12:30 or so, and we tried to talk to some of the riders, get some updates, and we were both standing there. I think Cole Davies was standing there, our producer, Mark Koha. Here comes Tomac, walking down the tunnel, walking to his motorcycle, and I love that you said something. You're like, hey, E.T., he had his back turned, he was walking away. He wasn't even that close to you, and you straight up called it out. You're like, E.T., is there anything to what we were talking about last weekend with your knee? And he just looked at you, and he was being playful about it. He had a smile on his face, but he's like, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. So I liked – that was a funny interaction to get that out of Eli, because he does not give much away. So anytime he makes a statement like that, it definitely stands out.
Yeah. And, Eli's not a big social media guy, so I didn't know for sure if he had even heard about it or watched it. But honestly, after the show, we've got a lot of traction with that. There was a lot of people in the industry that reached out or sent a text like, hey, man, you might be onto something here. I know Mathis tweeted it like, man, this might be something. And that's the thing is, like, you and I aren't the type to just like grab any straw that we're like, oh man, that might be it, or nope, that might be it.
Yeah, for
like
views.
We had enough evidence and the timing of it, we had to talk about it. So I'm like, yeah, ET, is there anything to it? He said, you guys are crazy. And then we went over and talked to him, and he's like, look, I'm not hurt. And then I think you might have brought up just the middle of his turns, and we go back to Anaheim 1 oftentimes in the post race, that we had noticed like his turns were better than ever. And he's like, yeah, you guys are onto something. That's why I really like this KTM. And he's lost a step there the last few weeks. And he did kind of allude to they might be searching with the bike just a little bit.
And then that brings up a broader discussion of when you come, I mean, I remember watching Eli. Everybody was excited to see him on the KTM. I remember watching him. I never took my eyes off him on press day when he was on the track. And it was like that intensity and aggression that everyone saw on Saturday night at Anaheim 1. I mean, from the moment he hit the track, you knew that he just agreed with the bike. And there's a little question marks there. Like, the Austrian brands are a little bit different. They're just a different feel than any other bike, and he hadn't ridden one. But, man, if that really is, it has to be a combination, right? It has to be a combination of just a straight-up mid-season slump, and we're searching for something with the motorcycle. And if there's one thing about Eli Tomac, and I actually give him a lot of credit for this over the years, when and even when I was teammates with him on Kawasaki, there was not a bunch of races, but there were races like this where he missed the setup a little bit. He wasn't comfortable, and so he's not going to put himself on the ground. It's one of the reasons he's had some injuries in the last couple of years as he's gotten a little older. But besides the double shoulder injury in Colorado 2015, he's been so durable. And I've gotten myself into hot water many times when I'm not agreeing with the motorcycle and I push the limit too far to try to make something happen. And when you have that, I don't know, it's outside pressure, but it's more pressure from yourself. But for Eli to be disciplined enough mentally to back it down when the bike's not there for him, I think in the long run, that's helped him a lot. And he's taken a lot of crap for it too. And he just sits with it, sits through it, doesn't make a big fuss about it, isn't like, why is everybody being this way to me? He understands it, but he just goes out there and does him, which I think that's worthy of respect for someone in his position to be able to do that. So to me, it's got to be just a combination of bike stuff. Momentum is not really going his way right now, and he just doesn't have. I thought he was a little better. Like, watch him in practice this week. I was a little worried after press day. Yeah. Because, dude, that long rhythm lane that you guys all saw, the second rhythm lane after the start this weekend, he didn't triple that lane one time.
No.
We didn't see him do it one single time. And we're like, I know it's just press day, but it looked like something was going on. I thought he was a little more aggressive in practice on Saturday. He got a little bit of his turn speed back, but still, it's just not the same intensity right now, JB. Just a slump, I guess?
Yeah, I'm sort of done speculating, to be honest with it, just because I don't know if we've seen this out of Eli before. There's definitely been races, like one race here and there
Yeah.
where he gets a seventh, but then the next week he comes back and wins. This is hard to diagnose because it's 3 races now. And it's not only just the 3 races, it's qualifying sessions, it's the press day that we watched on Friday. So that's what's difficult is literally 4 weeks ago, we're talking about this is the best version of Eli Tomac we've ever seen. And he's praising the motorcycle and we're praising the motorcycle, how it looks. And like you said, there was a lot of question marks coming in. Chase was not a fan of the bike last year. KTM took a lot of scrutiny, even with what the summer that Vial had. There was some issues going on internally that there was people talking about. And then now, to start the year, you and I were big on, man, we've got to give Red Bull KTM and Eli and Jorge Prado and like so much credit. We were praising them. And then now to have this, it's like, okay, maybe a little midseason slump. I can get on board with that. But the only thing is, like, we've also praised Eli for being one of the most durable and mentally tough dudes there is. A lot of people, oh, is he tired? It's halfway point. I'm like, no way, man. Johnny
No
T,
way.
like, there's just no way. Like, we
No.
cannot talk about him being fatigued
No.
halfway through the season. Like, he's Eli Tomac, one of the best to ever do it. And so that's what, I don't know. I'm stumped. I really am. A lot of people are like, well, just go back to the original bike setting. And I'm kind of on that train as well. Like, go back to what worked. Are you searching for something? Because whatever you had a few weeks ago was it. Like, it was really working. So I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. He thinks we're crazy. And I hope he can get back to form because it was a lot of fun to watch to start the year.
Me too. And it's just such an interesting dynamic that he's slumping. And then last week, Hunter makes that mistake. He somehow gets the red plate. So he's kind of got a big gift that's kept him in it because it could look very differently. But this motorsports, it's sports in general. If he does get the train back on the tracks and ends up winning this title, we're probably not going to even remember this slump.
No. Remember like round, I don't know, it was like 6 or 7, and there was a case to be argued that Eli could have won all of them but one, or maybe even all of them.
Yeah, I do remember that. He was that
he goes
good.
down in Houston. He was really good that night. He could have won. Glendale, he was amazing. Goes down the first turn. He probably could have won that one. Like there was a case that he could have won like 6 out of the first 7 races. So that's just how great he's been. So now, of course, we're not being hard on him. We're just asking questions like what's going on because of the expectation and the standard that we hold him to is so high. Like I said, one of the best to ever do it. And outside the top 5 this weekend in 6th, nearly 40 seconds back. So, but still tied for the red plate.
Tied for the red plate. Hold on, my mom's calling me. Let's see what she has to say.
Okay.
Hey, Mom, you did that thing again where you called me in the middle of the podcast. You're live on air right now. You have anything to say to our audience?
No, but a mom can call anytime she wants.
You absolutely can.
That's true.
Oh, there. JB says hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I love you, Mom. I'll call you after, okay?
Okay, babe.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Love it. That's
I
great.
mean,
And
my
you know what?
mom-
She's right. She's right. A mom can call anytime, and you got to answer.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but I just want to take a second. My mother, that woman is a saint. I don't know what she is made out of, built out of, but talk about just the most positive, uplifting human being on the planet. There is nothing that can bring my mom down. It is truly unbelievable. So I just want to give a shout out to Christy.
That's great. That's great. It must be a mom thing because I'm with you. My mom's the same.
My mom's better than your mom, dude.
Easy.
I'm just kidding. What'd you think of Hunter this weekend? I guess he jammed his wrist. You talked to him a little on Friday. He jammed his wrist, but didn't think it was going to hold him back at all. He got a good start, executed the start, and we haven't even talked about the racetrack, but that was maybe the most technical track of the year. It was right there with Seattle, and especially with those 2 rhythm lanes after the start and just the transitions, I felt like it was a peaky Supercross track. Like the 3-footers looked like 3.5-footers, the 5-footers looked like 7-footers. And when you have a very soft racetrack like that with tight transitions, it can get a little hairy. And so I understood Hunter's been a lot better in the opening laps with intensity, but he got to the lead right away. And corner after the finish line, he kind of went in the main big rut and lost a lot of momentum. Parado comes up the inside, makes an aggressive move on him. He gets him back, and then next corner, 94 comes in there, makes an aggressive move on him. So if you're a Hunter in that moment, needing to bounce back after last weekend, maybe your wrist is hurt a little bit, it would have been really easy to tank the race from there because it was not going. We all go out there with a plan, and it was just not going according to plan at all for him. He was going backwards, and so obviously not his best performance, but I thought for what he had in the tank on Saturday, I thought it was he did a good job of managing himself.
Yeah, first thing, I'm stoked he's okay because we didn't know. I mean, he hit the deck hard in Detroit.
Hard.
So my family was hanging out in the Lawrence fan zone area. Thanks to those guys for letting my family hang out and get some food. And they have all kinds of good snacks, some coloring books, all that. So my kids were stoked. So thank you to Truman and the guys for letting my family hang out in there. And that's where Hunter and I just had a quick chat, and he was like, yeah, I jammed my wrist a little bit, but I think it's going to be fine. And then another cool thing about our set location was when these guys got on the podium, they would come over and talk to us. Like after Hayden won, he came over and we talked to him a little bit. And then after Hunter, right before he was going on the podium, I just had a quick chat with him, and he was actually stoked with his ride. He was like, yeah, man, that was a good way to rebound on the podium. He's like, the track was gnarly, but he kind of liked the track like that. And we know, the gnarlier the track, the better Hunter Lawrence is. So I'm with you. I thought it was a great way to rebound, get the train back on the tracks a little bit. The sport, look, any sport, there's so much to do with momentum. And if he was off the podium again, it'd be like, man, all right. But to be on the podium, I think that's a huge testament just to his attitude and mindset, and he willed his way to get up there and get on that podium. So, yeah, he was somewhat stoked. He was more pleased about the ride than I thought he was going to be, which honestly tells me everything I need to know about Hunter, and I've already known. Like, he's just a positive dude and pretty even keel, like we talk about all the time, and he's going to bring his best effort once again, this weekend here coming up in Nashville.
I thought it was cool. Our set was right next to the podium, and a lot of the guys were kind of getting off their bikes, downloading with the team right behind our desk. And it was cool watching him. He's waiting to go up on the podium, and you guys were talking. And I heard the only really thing I heard him say initially was him asking you about Beck's race, like the KTM challenge. And that, to me, that's pretty cool. Like, you're just, he's in a fight for his life right now, and he gets off the track, and first thing he's talking about with you is, your son. I thought that was a cool moment.
I actually forgot about that. Thanks for the reminder, because once again, it just like he's such a good dude, and then same with Kenny. We'll talk about Kenny, and he's obviously coming up on the show here in just a little bit. But my buddy Mark, who comes to a lot of races, Ken didn't know he was in St. Louis hanging out, and he sees Mark, and him and Mark have like this rivalry going on between their golf games. And as soon as he sees Mark, he's like, dude, I got you covered. My swing is good. And he's like, he literally just won 2 in a row for the first time in a long time. It's funny. Like, these guys, we think that they're so consumed with it, and they are, but also when they see someone, a friend or someone that they have something in common with, it just like, it sheds the layer of athlete and racer to now like normal human, which was cool to see.
Yeah, it was cool to see up close and personal. I feel like you have I notice a lot of the current riders, like even with Cooper Webb too, a lot of them gravitate towards you. Like, just, I don't know, I feel like you're and I've got to experience that a little bit, in retirement, but you're just like a good voice of reason. You've been there, you've done it, you know what to do, and you're good with your words. And so it's cool to see those guys just kind of gravitate towards you. You seem like you're always having a conversation with like a top level rider these days, which is pretty awesome. But I want to give Jay Coop his flowers too, because that was a hell of a ride, dude. One of the best one of the best guys in the middle of his turn. He is so fast in the turns, and he found a really good way through the whoops. He wasn't losing any time there, so big respect. I've been, Jay Coop in the whoops has been a massive conversation now for like 2 years because he's good enough to win a lot of the time if it wasn't for that. But, dude, it seems like he's really starting to come around. I think in the beginning of the year, I think he was running a hydraulic clutch for the first time in his life. And so his starts have been pretty inconsistent. And that's something that last year, I don't have the stats, but it seemed like last year he gave himself more opportunity to be on the podium. Like he was up front in the beginning of the race more often than not, it seemed like. But it's cool to see him capitalize on a good start. And for him to go by Hunter, too, like the confidence is going up, and we got to throw him in there as a guy like Sexton that can now get in between Eli, Ken, and Hunter.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm going to take this conversation a little different direction on Jay Coop. He's an amazing rider and all that, but is he really fighting for a job? What are we doing, teams? What are we doing with Jay Coop? Because he posted after the race like, oh, I'm fighting for a job. Still want to get one of these wins. I'm fighting for a job in 2027. And I'm like, what does he have to do? And maybe he's just like kind of poking a little bit. Maybe he's already got some offers on the table. Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't think he'd already signed a contract. There's obviously a lot of speculation and rumors going around that he's been linked to Triumph and what, but man, still fighting for a job. And then I remember just going back to media days, he's talking about signing 1-year deals like every year.
And he likes that.
I'm just like,
what?
Man, he's so good. He is absolutely, he's like in the middle. He's not really a second guy, which is probably what he's going to be on most teams. But he's like in between. He's maybe not your number one guy that's getting paid, $2 or $3 million a year, but he's a $800,000 guy, right?
At least.
Right?
800 to 1.2.
Yeah. But I will say, if he could get that one win,
it would do a lot. Winners get paid.
If you show potential to win, you can win a race. Man, it goes from, I don't know, 750, 800 to, like you said, maybe that 1.2 range. And he's good in motocross too. He's not just a supercross guy or just a motocross guy. He's super durable. Come on, teams.
No disrespect, zero disrespect at all to Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha. That program's unbelievable. The bikes are unbelievable, and it's very clear. I mean, in the 250 class, they've lost one race this year?
Yeah, Hammaker.
It's insane.
Daytona,
it's
right?
insane. But I think that, and I think Pro Circuit was like this a little bit back in like the 2000s. I think when you have a team that dominant, it would not surprise me at all if they lowballed him. They gave him an offer for like $300,000 or something. It's purely speculating. I have nothing, like nobody's told me that or anything, but you telling me that he posted that on his Instagram, it would not surprise me if they gave him another 1-year deal for 400 or 500 or something like that.
Well, I will say though, and I'm going to stick up for the team a little bit, and not because it's them. Look,
I love this.
Rich Simmons, one of my best friends. He's a team manager.
He's awesome. Love that
But
guy.
this is not like sticking up for them. It comes down to business, right? And this is why Tomac's not there. So they stack the deck so much, and they've done such a great job in the 250 class that, okay, who would you rather have, Justin Cooper or Hayden Deegan on a 450 on your team? Let's break this down.
I get it.
Clear.
Yeah.
Right?
I get it. And
who do you
Deegs
keep?
is getting paid. Deegs is getting paid.
paid.
At least 1.5 his rookie season, right?
Man, it's hard because he's got a separate monster deal, I'm sure. So how much is that? Is the 1.5 just from Yamaha? He's got his Fox deal. So like all in, he's
Fox deal's got to be close to $1 million, 750 to $1 million.
Yeah.
Monster
And
deal
then,
probably 500.
So to break down the J Coop thing even more, do you keep Cooper Webb's won 3 Supercross championships. He's won a race this year, having one of his tougher seasons, but he's still only 25 down in the championship. So you probably offer Webb a deal.
I've heard Webb shopping a little bit.
Yeah?
I haven't heard that. Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard from a direct source But yeah, like this season, I have heard multiple times that he is not super stoked on where he's at. But again, this is secondhand information, and these things get out of control all the time. He hasn't said really anything publicly saying that he's not happy or anything, but I guess that's a separate conversation. But it is the last year of Cooper Webb's deal, correct?
Yeah.
So
and he's on the record for saying he does want to go Supercross only, so maybe that's why he's somewhat shopping around. And look, everybody shops around. When your
Of course.
contract's up, I mean,
Except
and
me.
if you can take, except you never shopped around?
Not really. A little. I mean, I guess a little bit. But continue. Let's not talk about me.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're Coop, you have to, right? I mean, and J Coop shopping around like everyone.
Yeah,
shops
you got to
around.
get the most. You got to
get the most you
it's
can.
business.
So
Yep.
I don't blame him. And then, he has said he wants to go Supercross only. So where does that fit in? Is there another team that fits in perfect and pays him more? And he's a great asset to any team out there. So I love this time of year, man. I
Me
love
too.
contract season, and it was my favorite thing to do as a rider of like putting my deals together. And they were always pretty unique because I'd have like a factory Honda deal in America, and then I would pair it with a Urive Honda Australia deal, and then I'll do some Europe stuff.
Yeah,
and
you got creative.
Yeah, I love that. I love getting kind of the most out of myself then. Because look, it was a waste of time for me to be at motocross races, AC. It's just a waste of time, dude.
Come
5 to 10, a lot of 8.6s, a lot of 5.8s.
Hey, those are some long days.
Long days, man.
Being a 5 to 10 outdoor guy.
Yeah,
Those are some long days back there.
maybe a podium a year, just to, get a
Just
little
to show
bonus
them
money.
you're there, alive, breathing.
I guess, I don't know.
Should we
Yeah.
bring the 94 on?
What a weekend for the 94.
Oh, dude,
What a weekend.
don't even get me started. I mean, just what he was 20 back or something going into Detroit.
Yeah, I think it was even more. Was it 26 or something like that?
26 to, you know what, I was looking at the points. I think Cooper Webb is maybe 25 back now.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, with Tomac slumping and Hunter's crash, there's been times like Detroit in the opening lap of Detroit or the first few laps when Coop made that aggressive pass on Jorge. Like clearly Coop has switched from championship mode to individual race win mode. And once that thing happened with Hunter and Eli continues to kind of not be himself, I thought to myself, like, Coop's probably regretting that mindset a little bit. Because he could have, I don't know, if he was 15 down right now instead of 25,
Yeah.
like, dude, he's in it too.
It's still crazy to think he's only 25.
I
Like
know.
when you think about the season he's had and the mistakes he's made, you would think he'd be down 60.
50, yeah.
He's still only down a race. And
It's
like with things
crazy.
that have happened lately,
You never know.
dude, you never
Mud
know,
races, we got a bunch of open air
right?
stadiums in the Northeast coming up. I mean, it could get hairy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Hey,
the
before we bring
94.
Ken on though, let's give a little shout out. This weekend was a St. Jude race, benefiting all the children and families of St. Jude. And there was a ton of cool graphics kits.
There was.
And, some of my favorites were done by SKDA, big supporter of us, big supporter of the show, skda.com for any graphics kit you want. And there you see Ken Roczen's right there, flamed out. That was pretty cool. I thought the Club MX bikes looked really, really good this past weekend. And the Hondas, there's just something about Hondas. I don't know if it's just the color red, but
Oh, here we go.
you can really
Here
make
we
those
go.
bikes look good. They look really,
Flat bar.
really good. So, nah, dude, put some twin walls on it.
Nope, too rigid. Arm pump. I'm out.
But thanks to SKDA, also Ogio, OgioPowersports.com, ACJB 15, ACJB 15 for a 15% off discount. I traveled heavy this weekend, AC. I had to bring a gear bag for Bex, 9800.
Oh, yeah.
Had a lot of four-wheelers, got about 3 or 4 of them for the family, but we did bring some two-wheelers along. Paige had a two-wheeler carry-on bag, and I'm telling you, I mean, I rolled the gentleman I was rolling Paige's bag for her. I gave her my first-class seat. I was upgraded.
Wow.
So I gave her my first-class seat, took her
Wow, I
bag
didn't
with me
expect
on the
nothing
back.
less.
That's right. But I'm so far gone from the two-wheeler.
No.
Folks,
No. Yeah, no.
I mean, the four-wheeler is just where it's at. You mentioned last week that Oldenburg and these
Yeah,
guys
it
with
was feminine.
two-wheelers. I mean, guys, this is unbelievable stuff.
It's just way more efficient.
Yeah.
And I'm confident in my T numbers.
Yeah, what are they right now?
If you want to call me feminine for a four-wheeler, go for it, dude. It's efficient. It's efficient.
Oh, that's awesome. So shout out to Ogio. Best bags in the game. OgioPowersports.com. We appreciate them. So should we bring the 94 on?
Let's do it, dude. Let's kick it with Kenny.
All right, 2 in a row, Kenny. Well done this past weekend, but we got to start here. We got to start with this track. And look, it looked like a ton of fun. AC and I walked it on press day, and we're like, man, this looks really big. Like, we felt like it looked big. Then we talked to Joe, and Joe's like, nah, looks pretty normal. I'm like, Adam, we might just be losing our touch. We're losing it, but it was pretty big, right?
I think it was big for how soft the track was. You know what I mean? Like, Glendale, for example, is usually really peaky and big as well, but you don't have those squirrely ruts in the middle, right, and transitions. So I thought it was, just big for how gnarly the track gets. And it was a little bit unexpected because when we were there for SMX last year, it was a lot more hard packed than it was now. And I guess completely different times of the year, that probably plays a big role. And it just was unexpectedly soft, honestly. So it made it for an extremely tough track.
It seemed like the two rhythm lanes after the start, like the first rhythm lane after the start, that first 5-footer, that thing was 8 feet.
Yeah,
That was not your standard 5-footer, right?
I know. And and the way it was built. So you had that little, like you could jump across that start turn, right? Which was really big. Honestly, that was the hardest part to get out of the entire section. But if you were to double, you didn't really have like a steep takeoff, even though the double was tiny. You didn't have a steep takeoff to where you can get in the pocket. So you're basically slamming into the face of that, let's call it 8-footer. And, with that comes the grenades in the ground, right? Like if all of us do that multiple sessions, it just looks a whole lot different than when you first walk the track, right? So on that side of things, it was large. I thought the transitions, they got gnarly because of, again, how soft it was. Other than that, when I saw a video of the track from press, it looked like it was shaped pretty well. It wasn't notchy. But then, of course, once everybody rides it, it just turns into, a notchy track. But it was a tough one, a really, really tough one.
Let's talk about how we started Q1. Stuck under the bike, a little bit rough.
Was that on camera?
Yeah, it was.
Dude.
And we're like, dang, it was like, you had to be stuck, right? Because it was like you were taking your sweet time to get the bike off you, but I'm like, you had to be stuck.
I couldn't. Yeah, I fell just perfectly. It was just a really small tip over, but I fell perfectly to where my bike, my leg was stuck under the bike, and then the top of my knee brace was stuck on my hot starter. Like literally, it was like perfectly wedged in there. So I'm trying to, even because I was laying slightly downhill from the berm, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I have no leverage to kick the bike or kind of like get it off, and it was wedged in there. Like, I was so stuck. I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to wait until somebody helps me. So that was a funky one. It didn't bother me by any means, but where it got tricky was due to the track's difficulty, and it was very busy. I mean, you had the open areas by the mechanics, but realistically, if to go fast there, you have to push really hard, which makes it really tough too, especially with how sticky it is, right? So no rest on the track, super busy. And at that point, I was probably 4 or 5 laps deep, and I haven't even really done all the rhythm lanes. So then I crashed. It took a little bit of time, right? I'm finishing the lap, and I'm like, well, I still don't really know where I'm going because first practice for us, cold turkey, the track's already looking like an enduro track. You have a lot of big rhythms, like crucial rhythm lanes. And so I'm like, well, I got to do another slow lap before I even attempt to like put the track together. Never mind actually pushing really hard. So I did another lap, and then, I had like 4 minutes or 5 minutes to go once I finished that lap, and I haven't done anything. Like, I must have been 20th or something. So then I'm like, okay, let's just do the jumps here, which was a task in itself, because even if you cruise somewhat throughout the track, there's still a chance that you're jumping off a tabletop and you're looking at a rut that you don't like, and you're backing out of tripling out, which is crucial to be able to get a halfway decent lap, right? So I barely got that in, and I think I ended up being 9th, which I wasn't worried about it because the first thing I said is like, man, this was just like a little bit of a cluster of a first practice. And so coming into the second qualifying session, you feel a tiny bit rushed because it's like, okay, we got 12 minutes. I haven't really fully done all the rhythm lanes a couple of times at least, so I can be sure what to hit and where to go and what option to do. So you just feel ever so slightly rushed. Like I didn't let that obviously derail me, but it was one of those things where the day started off a difficult track, going down, time's kind of running out, and I have no clue where to jump to or what rhythms to do yet, you know.
It seems like over your career, it seems like you're always good. I think back to like Unadilla, Indianapolis 2023. It seems like you're always good in those super soft conditions. Is that like why do you think that is? Yeah, I know that. I'm like, why do you think that is? Did you ride that a lot as a kid or something?
I should say there is a difference. When it comes to motocross, I'm totally fine with it. I think our tracks in Europe were rather slow, but you had a lot of like hilly tracks, off camber, kind of rocky, hard packed, and it would rain a lot. And before you know it, you have super deep, super technical ruts. I'm not talking about the ruts that you can just kind of pinpoint and just rail a turn, but ones where you have to go slow, keep your momentum, and just very finicky tracks. So I think based on that, maybe that's why I'm good at it. And Supercross, I really dislike it just because Supercross is gnarly in itself. So then you mix in the softness and the transitions and the ruts that are created with us is brutal. So they're not my favorite conditions to race in. Having said that, I seem to do good in it most of the time. But yeah, it's a very, hit or miss laps you can do, especially in a 20-minute main. Like everything can go perfectly fine and then it's over.
And perfect example, after the finish line, you guys were cutting down in the beginning of the race, going on off that tabletop, and you're hitting that 3 into the turn before the whoops. And it's like on a track like that, if you go 6 inches too long off that tabletop and get more into that pocket, you're already dragging pegs through those ruts to triple in anyway. So it's like if you don't downside everything perfectly, you have to back it down and double instead of triple.
It's either that, even if you can slightly over jump it and have that problem, but also same thing if you come up ever so slightly short because the suspension is unloading perfectly enough to where technically in the transition, it doesn't add up. And then, you have a lot of forward momentum and you tend to get that buck. So if you do drag pegs and you have that forward momentum, but the bike's slowing you down from hitting that soft dirt, that's when you can create big problems. And that was a tough section because getting onto the tabletop, let's say you have 3, 4, 6 feet, 5 feet, whatever it is. But then from landing on it towards the end of the main event, you are getting like double bumps up there that you have to kind of time perfectly with your suspension. And in the heat race, that was obviously the fast line to go after the finish, go on, off in 3. But in the heat race, for example, you're going into the second heat race, track's already, pretty beat. But you're going in it blind. You have no sight line whatsoever. So I'm like, man, this is going to be gnarly. The rhythm lanes are extremely difficult. And then after having a decent break, just with how busy the track was, I had to really remind myself and put the rhythm lanes together in my head so I knew where I was at, And then you come around and, yeah, you want to try and triple everything on the first lap, but you are running into the risk of blindly jumping in a rut. So it was a little tricky there for a second, and after the finish in the entire heat race, I went over the tabletop through and then 3-1 because I felt like that was the safer bet to get every single lap. I didn't even bother going to the on-off at that point.
Yeah, so you mentioned all that about qualifier 1, then you come out qualifier 2, qualify fastest, and then our stats guy, Clinton Fowler, slid a card in front of me. That was the first time you qualified fastest since Indy 2025, and then Adam and I kind of had a laugh about that after you did the interview with Haley. It's almost like it came, I don't want to say easy, it's not the right word, but you almost like did it on accident. Yeah. And then it reminded me of Adam's rookie year on a 450, like he could have a blindfold on and still qualify fastest. So that has to feel pretty good, like almost doing it on accident and everything you went through Q1 and then to qualify fastest.
Yeah, for sure. But I just wasn't, I wouldn't say surprised because obviously I tried to go fast, but most of the time when I do that, I still end up being second, third, fourth, at least at this time, right? There were also times where I wasn't even on the board, like ever. And I feel like I've been pretty solid all around, whether it was qualifying, heat race, or the main events this year. And so I've seen my name more on the board, and I'm the last person to stress about whether I'm like second or third, anywhere around there, but never mind first. And I had no idea what the time gap was behind me. Once I had a couple of decent laps in, I kind of just kept riding slow, but I was doing the jumps, I was doing the rhythms, I was skimming the whoops, I just kind of kept going. And, but it ended up being like, I think like a half a second, maybe even a little bit more, somewhere around there. And I was pumped on that. Like, it's just been a long time, but it doesn't really affect my night for the good or the worse, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of guys will say that. So all of our listeners, a lot of riders will say that. It's honestly true for Ken. It really is. Like, you don't care. Like, for real, there's been so many times where you qualify ninth, or actually Anaheim won last year. You qualified like 15th or something. You're like, no big deal. And you come out and almost win the race. So truly, you don't care.
Yeah, I don't. I've just learned not to. And yeah, I mean, you get paid when the gate drops, right?
AC, were you like that? Did you care?
Yeah, I cared.
I cared too.
Yeah, I cared. The older I got, I mean, I did care a little bit less, I think, each year. But when I was confident in my fitness, those years that I had, when I was confident in my fitness and I felt good about my lap, because Kenny, you know that you can go out there and feel really good about your lap, and it's 6th or 7th, and you're not worried about it. But if you go out there and really put the hammer down, you feel a little sketchy, uncomfortable, and you're second, you're more stressed with that second than you are a solid 6th or 7th.
Yes. And I have really just registered for myself that I'm just a completely different rider when the gates drop. I absorb the track differently, where I want to go. Like, I bits and pieces naturally for some reason. I bits it and piece it together completely different than just trying to go for one fast lap. And honestly, with how difficult the tracks are a lot of the times, it's sometimes hard to comprehend how you're supposed to make it 20 minutes at that speed. You know what I mean? But that's also, you're not growing with the track. You're showing up already. It's rutted, and then it gets worse, and you're doing one lap. You're never really fully like opening up to the track, you know? Because I just think nowadays where everybody's going so fast that I never ever do 2 laps in a row for some reason, just because you put all your efforts into one lap, you know?
Yeah.
So
when did you start managing that race? You got to the lead early. I loved your pass on Hunter after the mechanics area. Aggressive but clean. Obviously, you put a little sprint in at the beginning. It is difficult, especially on a track like that, to not have anybody in front of you and to have no real baseline of how to adapt to the track. You kind of have to do that all yourself with no other feedback, basically. So when did you start? Like, you got, I think, up to 4 or 5 seconds. Like, was there a time in the race you're like, okay, this is a good pace, I can back it down a little bit?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Once I had enough of a gap to I would do a turn and they would be down on the other straightaway or just about the turn or whatever, I'm like, okay, this is good. We you got to calculate lappers later on in the main. You missing a rhythm lane, that happens to me very often as well. So I'm like, okay, we got enough of a gap where I can play a little bit with it. Like, you can have a so-so lap and come back, and it's not just shrunk down to a second or two right away. And I was good there, but I it seemed like they were starting to get into a battle that helped me out a little bit because I was able to ride my own thing. I was doing all the rhythms, or I would say I was doing the fastest rhythms you can do on the track almost the entire main event. Like, even coming down to the last lap, I ended up rolling that. Not rolling, but I ended up going a lot slower in the last lap and just doubling some stuff. And I didn't do that the entire main event. And I not almost went down, but it was close to, like, I was just jumping a double and I was in the middle of the track, but I wanted to get over to the right side. But then as I did that, I wasn't lined up with the ruts at all. So I'm hitting the ruts and then I'm singling. And so I was messing up more when I was actually backing it down than staying in it. But it ended up being just a gap where, I don't know what it was, 12 seconds, 13 seconds or something. I'm like, okay, like, let's just focus now on not so much speed, but rather do the jumps and just stay solid. I didn't want them to eat up my gap necessarily, to have a little bit of comfort. And then from then on, you just you take it lap by lap and you take what it gives you.
It was crazy because we're calling the race live to the stadium, and we had you on the screen a lot of the times, but then we had other riders, and when we would have you on the screen, like, well, Adam, it was like past halfway or something, or you were up to 10+ second lead. You had almost 2 straightaways, it seemed like, and we would watch you and you're just still hitting every rhythm lane, no problem, looked like you're riding a different track. And then we would go to different riders and they're really struggling, and they would pan back to you and just still look like you were going for it. And me and Adam look at each other like, dude, like, when's he going to back it down? When's he going to back it down? But I mean, you answered it basically like, if you back it down on a track like that, it gets a lot harder.
I was most comfortable attempting the difficult rhythms than not, if that makes sense. Because, and a lot of the times you start your rhythm out, whether it's a big triple in that's your main focus on, because as long as you time the gap right and you land in a good spot, it's a split second realistically, but for us, it feels like a long time. As soon as I see that I'm coming up good, you can start picking or making the decision of like, hey, can I go for the next one or not? Or if you see right away that you're landing somewhere where the rut's good, I tend to scan the rest of the track to see if whether it's a better one, or because sometimes ruts time out if you keep hitting it over and over. I'm not the only one hitting them. Then you kind of want to just scan the track a little bit to see where you can move to for getting more consistency in, or just that jump, that important jump not going away. Just want to keep doing them.
Kenny, we asked the fans some fan questions for you here today. We thought it'd be kind of fun to get into a few. The first one, you've mentioned on the pod here before that you're an avid runner. How many miles do you typically run per session, and any tips on how to get better at running?
When it comes to running, it changes a lot, whether I'm training preseason to in the season, but it may sound like a lot, but it could be anywhere between 6 to 10 miles. It could be a 10 miler, and it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. Don't get me wrong. But then at the same time, I don't know, once you get comfortable with those kind of distances, I don't know. Anytime I go out, there's no less than 6 miles, unless I'm doing a certain type of interval where, that are rather short, where you're not ending up having a ton of miles. But yeah, for the most part, I would say right now in the season, it could be 6, 7, just anywhere around there. I base it a lot during the season more on time rather than distance. A little bit less worried because I can have a really good interval session and end up doing quite a bit of miles, but I'm not going to get there in the same time if I'm just going on a base run. So I do mix it up. Having said that, what helps me out the most is intervals, but honestly, that's with any sport that you pick, whether it's cycling, swimming. Like doing the intervals and high intensity stuff is what's gonna get you stronger and faster and more efficient.
Love it. 10 miles is a lot.
Yeah.
This one's going to be fun. If you never picked up racing, where do you think you would be right now? What's Kenny doing in Germany right now? Where are we at?
It's a tough one. I grew up different than I would say most of your kids. My dad had a team. I was living on property. I had a track before I was even born. So then I was 2.5 years old. I got sat on a dirt bike and then basically never left since. So I felt like when you have that kind of upbringing, there's not even a chance or to think of anything else. I didn't want to, I love dirt bikes, of course. So then we went that direction, but I never even allowed myself to think about anything else, to be honest, because I didn't want to. So it's hard for me to really answer that question. I think a lot of kids, let's say you start off with 5, 6 or something like that. And, we took it, I would say, fairly serious early on because I was racing European Championship and then we had an in with Suzuki. So that was at a pretty young age. And so I played soccer a little bit, but that was all, second, third position just because racing was important. I did most of the training with the team throughout the week, but then when the actual games were, I was never there on the weekends. So I don't know. Further down the road with my sport, I love riding mountain bikes. So where I grew up, though, it wasn't really in my cards. Like I grew up on a pretty big street. I wasn't really cycling much. It just wasn't in our cards. The winter practice, the winter training, it's so cold and frozen all the time. So there was really not much cycling. And that's where my love for running really came from. I just did it a lot. That's what I did growing up.
I'm yet to meet a really great athlete with a backup plan.
I know, right?
It's just all in.
It's a simple question and a quick question to ask, but realistically, when do you ever think about that once you commit to a sport? It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Never.
Yeah, I'm different. I'd be pouring concrete or something. I feel like I did a lot of jobs, but I'm so much like
you started
our
late though,
trajectories.
right?
That's why you guys are champions and I'm not, probably, right? I'd like 3
You're
backup
5-time Australian champion, and you won Daytona.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
I will not tolerate any JB slander.
Hey, also the fitness thing, Kenny, you've got to stop taking off your shirt after the race and taking off your chest protector and stuff, dude. You're making us all look bad for our wives and girlfriends and everything.
Look away. It's simple as that.
No, not me. I'm not the one looking. It's all the wives and girlfriends and stuff, dude.
Well, Fox brings me
Jeez.
so many jerseys for race day. I gotta at least put a clean jersey on for the podium.
Right, Adam? I mean, look, makes us look terrible.
Dude, hey.
You guys are not athletes anymore. You're allowed to look thick if you want to.
Wow.
Yeah, I've gotten a little thick. I'm about $190 right now, Ken. But I've been lifting, dude. I've been lifting.
Yeah, you're
Have
gaining
you
muscle
noticed
then.
this? Have you noticed this, Kenny? He's bulked up.
Well, dude, I this weekend or the last couple of weekends, I've hardly seen you guys like down at the podium real quick. So
Yeah.
I haven't noticed it, but you.
I'll wear a tight shirt on press day this week.
All right, sounds good.
Tight one in the arms. Just a couple more. How many Fox helmets do you have hanging in your garage? I've seen a bunch in the background on some of your Insta bangers.
Yes. Right now, I haven't counted them in a while. I think it's about 50 in the mid 50s or high 50s, but there's quite a few helmets floating around. Like I know Fox has a bunch, Red Bull has a bunch. So they're definitely not all of them throughout my U.S. career by any means. But I actually I have some laying around even down here. And when you have kids and stuff, I just haven't gotten to it yet. In the end, it's really just putting in a nail and making sure it's all lined up. But I have some laying around. So I would say it's probably in the mid-high 50s right now, but I gotta at some point collect, because I do, that's in the end why I hung them up. I think it looks cool and get them off the ground, and we have a lot more room in the shop. So
Love it. All right,
Love
last
it.
one. You and Adam, you met young Adam training at a young age. What's your favorite AC memory? Does anything come to mind?
oh god, we have so many, honestly, that it's hard for me to pinpoint one. We may have to I really have to think about that one, because I may even have some really funny videos that I have to look at.
Oh, yeah. They're in there for sure.
So we're gonna get back.
It's crazy. It really is crazy. Like thinking back to how we were then, like summer of 2014, we were
So
out
young.
of control and
Yeah, kids.
we just talked crazy all the time. Like just said the craziest stuff.
It never ended. I mean, I know RV, well, I guess it's hard to compare because even 5 years ago, it may have been quite a bit different. Now I'm going on 32, and the time difference, like, I just don't even want to know. Like, if it was me now and I would have to listen to these donkeys right there talking the entire day without stopping, and it's constant smack talking
You just
and
like,
wrestling, yeah, I would be like, dude, get them out of here. I want my peace and quiet. I don't know how
for
RV
real.
did it.
I know.
That's funny. How old were you then, AC, when you first started training with him?
Well, it's me training with him because you were already with Eldon and RV, and then I swooped in end of 2013.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, into 2013, I was just to turn 17. Had my first alcoholic beverage with Kenny over here. First time I ever got a little buzzed up.
Go figure, huh? I was.
Oh yeah.
It seems like I was always the bad. I'm always the bad influence.
Oh no, it was harmless, dude. Mike's Hard Lemonade, 17, dude, slamming them. No
I was
problem.
going to ask, what was it? It was Mike's Hard?
Oh yeah.
Mike's
That's
hard.
great. Awesome. Thanks, Kenny.
Well,
See
thank
you
you
next
guys.
this
See you
weekend.
next week.
You're the man. Thanks, dude. Thanks to the crew at Fox Racing for bringing Kenny on each and every week. And JB, I go back to the beginning of the season when we made this plan with him. We thought maybe half the races, and he's been there, win or lose, every Monday, down to do the show, which has been it's been cool.
Yeah. And you know what? You and I, spend a lot of time with Ken. We talked to him a lot. He's been stoked to do it. Like, I'm with you. I thought maybe we'd get 7 or 8.
Yeah,
I really did.
same.
And to everyone watching and listening, like, it was him and probably more Courtney, his wife, but it was kind of their idea. So yeah, for him to come on each and every week, and we text with him all the time, and he's like spot on. He's always on time, and he wants to do it. He's excited to do it. And yeah, I'm as stoked as any other fan out there that we get to hear from him each and every week. And now for him to be in this position as 5 to go,
Cool.
5 points down in the championship, 2 in a row.
Just keep on keeping on.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
all. That's all. And yeah, shout out Courtney Roczen as well. She's like the most organized, on it individual, maybe in the whole industry.
For sure.
She's great. I love Courtney.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Only other thing I had in the 450 class, only really other thing of note, do you see Sexton's crash?
Oh, yeah.
That was one, and we've all been there. Maybe not the great Justin Brayton, but
No, I've
we've
been
all
there.
been there where we just kind of have a brain fart and we forget where we are on the track. And that's what it looked like to me. Like he looked like he was trying to quad it. He looked like he was trying to quad over that tabletop right there and just went a little long. And dude, that is a tough hit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think we always talk about how strong Chase is. And that is a situation right there where being as strong as he is, working that hard in the gym, that really pays off in moments like that. Because the force, like the G-force coming down to a complete stop like that face was just completely hammered, sticky, soft dirt that just pulls the bike down, come to a stop, chest off the bar. Obviously, he didn't finish the race, but looks like he'll live to fight another day.
Hey, you remember that feeling when you're in the air and you made a mistake and you're going to come up that short?
Can't forget.
Oh, that feeling just came back to me. I'm like, no, not a good feeling at all. But yeah, I think just simple mistake. Forgot where he was in the rhythm lane. You know, typically he would come out of that right-hand turn and either go triple, triple or double, triple. And he messed up and went double, double. And then Marchbanks is up alongside him. He's just going to try to keep that position and try to go triple, which he was in the wrong spot to do a triple. So I hope he's okay, man. It's been fun the past 2 weeks to have Chase back. He's so fun to watch ride. And he's going to be a factor. You know, looks like it's a three-way battle. I don't even know if you can count Coop completely out of it yet, being 25 down, but Chase is going to get in between those guys and mix it up. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's got a win in him, like from now until Salt Lake City at some point.
I agree.
But yeah, glad he's okay. It's better when Sexton's on the track. Like he is a bit of like a polarizing figure because just his talent is insane. And so the possibilities of how it could go for Chase, the range is crazy. It could go like that, or it could just be an absolute clinic. Like it's a pleasure to watch that guy ride when he's on it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But let's get into let's get into the 250s here, JB.
Where you want to start? You want to start at the top?
Yeah, we got to start at the top.
All right,
well, let's start in practice. Practice.
Well, all right, let's unpack the weekend a little bit then, because I want to start there as well.
Okay.
Unpacking the weekend presented by Ogio, code ACJB15 for 15% off or more. But qualifying practice and Hayden Deegan, was he serious? Like this was is it the best he's ever ridden? It was incredible.
I mean, he was faster. Well, was it the second qualifier? He did like a 53 something.
He was 2 seconds.
2 seconds
faster than everyone else on track.
Yeah, and like of course the track was getting worse. It was slower for the 450 session, like in total. But Hayden did that 53 in the last 5 minutes of his practice. Then the 450s go out there and they didn't even touch it.
No.
Nobody even close to a 50. I think a 55 was Ken's time, maybe, or maybe a 54.5, something like that. But it was significantly off of Hayden's time. The point is, it was an absolute beatdown. And it's like, I think we all saw this coming a bit. And he even said it on the podium. That's why he came back and did another year in the 250 class, because he wanted it to be, he knew he needed to make another step up in Supercross. And dude, it just seems like throughout his career, it's rare that someone comes in and is as good as he was right away. And then it's like, you see all that talent very early, rookie season, and then you put this expectation on him of like, okay, well, this is how much better he's going to get over time. You kind of just make that distinction in your mind based off the evidence at the time. And he is one of the few that anytime he always rises up. Like he has continued to get better. There hasn't really been a moment, I guess you could say at the beginning of Supercross last year, he started a little slow, was getting bad starts, and we were like, okay, we thought he might be a little better than this. And what, that lasted 3 races. And it's just incredible to me. Also, when you think about how much we always talk about being your own benchmark, and he's been so dominant, but he continues to get better. He clearly doesn't need to in the class that he's in now. He doesn't need to. He probably could have won this championship riding how he did 2 years ago. But, dude, it's just a pleasure to watch the guy. It really is. And I think you and I, more than anything, are blown away by how aggressive he is on the bike and how little mistakes he makes. Like, when you're going that fast and pushing that hard, to not really make mistakes, I can't even think back. I'm sure there's been a couple this season, but I can't really think back to a time where he's really thrown it away. And to me, that's just another layer to the Hayden Deegan saga. And I mean, start to finish, that was one of the most impressive performances I've seen in this class, period, all time.
Yeah, there's not very often that guys at this level, when we're talking at the highest level, it's an East-West showdown, and then we're watching the 450 class, which the level there is extremely high at the moment. And all through qualifying, and we were pretty hard on the other riders. Hayden was doing jumps that no one else was doing, and he made it look extremely easy.
The 3-3?
Yeah.
The 3-3. I'm like, I even said it on air. I'm like, am I being too hard on these guys? Because a lot of people were doing the triple out, but they weren't doing the second triple off the shallow pocket. And Hayden was doing it standing up. And it's not like he was kissing the front fender trying to make it. It looked pretty easy for him to do. And that's where I was like, he's already got these guys beat before the gate even drops. Like, if you want to win the race, you have to do that triple. And it's nobody, I think Hammaker did it in the main event a few times. Guys ended up doing it later on, but I think it just goes to show when you have someone that dominant, the riders, they stop comparing themselves to him. He's in his own class. And then it's just like the best of the rest, and you just fall into that mentality. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it started really early in qualifying, and now fast forward to the main event. Here we go again. Cole Davies out front. We've been comparing Cole Davies to Hayden Deegan. I opened Race Day Live, which this is the rematch. Cole was really upset with how he rode, even though he got credited the win in Birmingham, but he was really upset that Hayden reeled him in and passed him. And I thought, man, this is it. Like, Cole's at a new level now. And Hayden just went right through him. And just absolutely went right through him and took off and won the race by over 15 seconds. And I'm just like, man.
It's a beatdown.
I feel like, yeah, it was a complete beatdown. And I continue to be impressed by Hayden. And I didn't think there was room for improvement in Supercross. Like you said, he even mentioned it. I've been so impressed in motocross, but he continues to impress week after week and get better and better. He's better now than he was a month ago, which is crazy to think. So we keep talking about it, but I cannot wait till this summer when he's on a 450. I can't wait. He's so ready. He's so ready to go, and I just want to see where he's at. And then, 2027 Supercross, when we're at Anaheim for that press conference, I mean, it's going to be like goosebump material.
Yeah.
And the first press day when he's out riding with these guys, and just the level, we haven't talked about Jet in a long time, but hopefully he's back healthy, and Hunter's at a new level, Kenny and Eli, and the list goes on and on and on. It is a special time to be a race fan. And now we have this kid that's one of the best we've ever seen on a 250 ready to move to the big bike class. This is pretty fun, AC. This is good stuff.
In my head, that's 7 in a row. That's
Absolutely.
7 wins in a
No
row
question.
right there.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what the stats are on 7 in a row. I know it had been 19 years since RV did that in 07. 6 in a row. I don't know if anybody, I imagine Stu at some point won 7 in a row. I think back to 04, and I remember he knocked himself out in practice in 04 and didn't line up that night. I'm not quite sure where that was in the series. But when you start having the conversation about where he ranks all time in the little bike class, he's got to be top 3.
Yeah.
He's got to be top 3.
Yeah, with still a couple left that he could win out, and I don't see how he won't win out.
I mean,
Denver and Salt Lake City, but do we see him on a big bike?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
either,
No need. No need to rush it. Just I think he was very motivated to wrap up that championship early, and even JT talked about it, I think, on the broadcast a little bit, but that gave him, or maybe it was Lee Diffie, that gave him a couple extra weeks. Like if he wrapped it up then, a couple extra weeks on outdoors on the 450, which I think is huge in the long run. And we were playing around with the idea of him racing a few 450 Supercrosses at the end of the series here, and I don't know. I mean, it would be cool. Selfishly, I would love to see it. But if I'm him, it's like we have that. You already have the plan. Now you have a little extra time to ride outdoors. No need to go early, I think. I mean, it would be great for the sport. Could you imagine that dynamic? He makes his debut right as this championship. It's basically we have 3 guys tied at the top. Yeah. That would be absolutely wild. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this summer. I really am. And I think, yeah, he's top 3 all time on a 250. I mean, he's up there. You can't be much better than he's been, really.
No,
can't.
He's
Started
been
winning early, never stopped getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Kid is a special talent. He really is. And when you watch him ride, like everything he does is really good. The way he pushes lanes, his turns, everything. But there's also something extra with him where sometimes you can see places he makes up time, but it's just kind of like everywhere. Like around the entire track, he makes up time. It's hard to like really quantify, but just everything he does is just better than the next guy, period. And then the whoops thing, someone as dominant as him hearing nonstop about how good Davies is in the whoops, dude, he was pretty fast in the whoops this weekend. Like that's the kind of stuff that he gets up for.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think dominant. It starts with his turn speed though, huh? Like he's just a mile an hour or 2 faster on the whole track, but it's because of his corners. There's no stop and go.
Nope.
He enters fast, but his middle and exit are extremely fast. If he can keep that on the 450, which is, it's more difficult to do, of course, heavier bike and all that. But I think that he can. If anybody can do it, I think he can. And that's going to be a lot of fun to watch because his turn speed is incredible.
I would say I would compare the other night to Tomac's beast mode. Like, when Tomac is like getting that spot in the race for like 5 to go and he just gets on a heater. Mm-hmm. Like that was him from the gate drop to the finish line. And you made a great point. My last thing on Deegan. You made a great point. He can take any line around the entire track and he will do that line faster than you. Mm-hmm. Like, doesn't matter where the line is. High in the berm, low in the berm, flat turns, bowl turns. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just better. He's just better, straight up.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how hard that is to do. It is so difficult because there's typically always one really fast way around the racetrack, and a lot of guys can go that fast. And it's why we talk about, Tuesday afternoon at the test track or Wednesday, man, this guy's so fast. But if you looked at the test track, there's literally one line. They can just get so used to that one line, and that's how they're fast during the week. Then you take them to the weekend, and the line changes every lap, and that's where Hayden has impressed me so much. In motocross, he could do that, and he wasn't able to in Supercross a couple years ago, but now he's able to just literally go anywhere at any time and be faster than anybody. It's so impressive, and so yeah, shout out Hayden Deegan once again. Got another win. I'm with you. That was 7 in a row. Not credited for that, but I think in most people's eyes that was 7 in a row. So before we move on to Davies, shout out to Smart Top. SmartTopSpaCovers.com. It's getting to be summertime, but hot tub. If you're anything like me, Adam, get loosened up. I'm 42 now, starting to get a little bit stiff. That hot tub is nice. And if you want the best cover in the business, go to SmartTopSpaCover.com. And then a lot of guys are out riding now. Springtime, best time of year to ride. You were just saying you're going riding this week. Pretty much anything you want for your motorcycle, you can get it at firepoweredparts.com. chains, sprockets, wheels. You need stands, basically anything. Go check them out. You need batteries, go to firepowerparts.com. We appreciate their support. What about Cole Davies? Was it a little bit of a letdown, or are we still once again being a little too hard on the sophomore?
Well, yeah, it was a little bit of a letdown, but I also commend him. When Hayden threw it up the inside in the turn, the second left-hand turn after the mechanics area, Davies almost like went to let him by.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? He kind of glanced over his shoulder and slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically let him by, and I get it. I mean, Davies hasn't won a championship yet. He had that rough spot after him being so impressive in Supercross last year. He had that rough run of injuries and just wasn't going his way. And so now he's got it back on the tracks and he's not being greedy. I would have rather him done that than tried to match Deegan and then end up making a big mistake, tossing points away. No need to do that. But it just goes to, it's not so much a discredit to Cole. It's more of just a credit to how much better Deegan has gotten. Because last year, you would have said with another year, Cole would be right there with Hayden. And that would be true if Hayden didn't get better. But Hayden's gotten, if Cole took a step, he took two. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is. And I commend Cole for not getting his ego, not letting his ego get in the way and him doing anything silly. Still beat Hammaker. Shimoda, I don't know. When did Shimoda crash? Was that the heat race or the main?
That was
beginning
the
of the main?
race, yeah. Yeah,
Heat
bummer
race,
for
yeah.
Joe. Yeah.
Such a big bummer for Joe. I love that guy. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing Davies could have done, really.
Yeah, I
He's
thought it
just
showed
that
a lot
much
of
better.
maturity, to be honest. I'm
Yeah.
kind of with you. I thought it showed a lot of maturity. He still beat
I agree.
Hammaker by 12 seconds. So it's basically a win in championship scenario like that. He won his division, and Hayden's in his fourth year in the 250 class. He's in his second. Can you go match him? Yeah, maybe on his best day, but I agree with you, man. I thought it was a veteran move, and it's kind of scary for the field that he's that young and he's making moves like he's making
Big
already.
brain moves.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then Seth Hammaker third. We were talking, I don't know if it was on air or off air, but man, if I own a team or if I'm a team manager, Seth Hammaker is one of my riders.
No doubt.
There's no question. Like,
He's
he
the
gets
man.
the most out of himself.
He does.
He tries hard. He's polite. He's one of my first hires if I'm a team manager or team owner. What do you
Couldn't
think?
agree
about that?
more. I really couldn't. Like, he's just one of those guys too. And I really do. I don't know. I think it's more rare in kind of his generation, but he's a guy that you can turn your back on and, send him to Florida or whatever he's doing, or he's rehabbing an injury. Mitch tells him, let me know when you're good to go. And like, you just know that he's not going to leave anything on the table ever. He is married to the game. He wants it really bad. He gets the most out of himself. He keeps getting better. But it's almost like when you watch those two, Cole Davies and Seth Hammaker, it's just, I almost feel bad for Seth in a way because he does maximize his skill set. He really does. And he is an unbelievable rider. He truly is. But it's just like, same thing with someone like Deegan. It's like you run into a talent like Cole Davies, and it's just very difficult to get there. And I started RDL this week with that if Seth wanted to take this championship down to Salt Lake, of course he wants to, but to me it's like he's going to have to make another step to do that. It's so hard. Cole, he'll always have the whoops on him, so he's got to be that much better around the rest of the track. But my God, you cannot fault Seth Hammaker whatsoever. He rode really well. I think he's better now. I think early in his career, he probably wanted it too bad. And I think that got him in some hot water with crashes and things like this. But you can tell he's smartened up a lot. He maximizes the night. Very stoic guy, whether he wins or gets third, he's kind of the same. So, dude, I can't say a negative word about Seth Hammaker. I love what he's doing right now. I mean, it's going to be tough for him to get this title, but he's going to get everything out of himself.
It's such a fine line, right? And you and I have lived this of Seth could probably go faster, especially on a track like that. But there's a fine line. You've got to stay healthy. You've got to be there. We're going to catch a mud race or two coming up. We're doing this little East Coast swing. So, yeah, and that's why I just wanted to bring that up with Seth, because he's doing everything right. He's maximizing every race he can. And sometimes you just come up against a guy like Cole Davies that, look, yep, just going to have to chalk this one up on the podium again. But he did say he might have to start taking some more chances, and it's a slippery slope.
It
He
is.
could be there this summer as well. Like with Hayden moving up, he could be the title guy this summer. So I don't know if I'd be taking too many risks.
I guess my last thing on Seth Hammaker is kids out there watching this show, you don't have to win to be a winner. Seth Hammaker, that dude is a winner. Just a winner in life. You agree?
Oh, yeah, well said.
You
Well
do
said.
you do your best. You do your best. You focus on the things in your control, and that's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Seth does. And so you can't, we could say, oh, he's got to send it more. He's got to do this, but he knows himself.
And he's tried that, and it didn't work.
You're correct. So I respect it. He'll be in the mix for a long time. He's going to make a good little career for himself. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah. My last thing in the 250s, Adam, is, man, what are we going to do with Kitchen? He's got the back injury.
Why are we racing?
Well, that's the hard part is dude, you've been there, and I don't know this for sure, but if you're not at the races, you get forgotten about. Then the pressure starts to mount. I don't think it's a contract year, but also, man, it's just a difficult situation. It really is. And it sounds like his back will flare up every now and again, and you don't know when it's going to happen. I had this with my neck for the past 2 years. It'd be good for a few months, and I just wake up one day and it's like, man, I can't even hardly turn my neck. You've got a bulged disc, and I don't know exactly if that's what's going on, but that's what it sounds like. So some days are good, some days are bad, and I guess you just take the risk of it being good on a Saturday. Looks like he tried the kidney belt. I don't know if that helped or not.
Well, he took it off for the main.
Did he take it off for the main?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, so maybe he took it off for the main. And you've got motocross coming up, which, once again, with Hayden out, who's going to take his spot? Levi would be towards the top of the list if he was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just bummed for him, man. He's shown so much potential this year, so much speed. His starts crushed him. And now we're here. I'm like, man, I'm bummed for Levi.
Me too.
I don't even know him that well, but I'm just bummed for him because
he's awesome. Yeah, I love Levi. Super laid back. Just he knows who he is. Just one of those guys. He's just nice to be around. So supremely talented. He just hasn't had one of those years yet where it just all came together. It's been all these flashes where you're like, that guy is. I mean, I remember. I think it was 2020, Anaheim 2. 2024, I remember watching that race and thinking, dude, this guy's a future 450 champion. He's had those moments.
I know he has, yes.
He has. But my thing, with the back injury, and I don't have all the details, but you keep racing, and it's going to keep flaring up. Mm-hmm. At some point, you got to park it and wait for it to come around. And I just don't know. Sometimes there's sponsor obligations. The teams have to have a certain number of riders on the track, and I don't know. Maybe Levi is I can race with this no problem. Maybe that's his stance. I don't know what it is, but just watching him, Birmingham this weekend, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of upside. If he can go out there and he can. The way he's riding right now on his coast, individual coast, he could be a podium guy. He's probably getting second or third every time.
Yeah,
but. I don't know. Does that outweigh the risk of flaring it up and then setting him back? And I'm not sure. It's a broader discussion there. But,
would you park
just bummed for him because I really do think he's, in the beginning of the year, even though he had all those crashes. Remember his ride at Glendale? It's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am just bummed for him, and I hope he figures it out. I really want him to have a year where he has a solid offseason. He comes in and stays healthy because I want to see how good he can be. I don't think we've seen that yet. Like, it's a different type. Once you can have those flashes, yes, but you're kind of seeing it with like Kenny right now, for example. It's like once you get that momentum, and then you can almost be something you never thought you could be once you get that momentum going in the right way. So I hope he figures it out.
Do you park it to Paula?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Definitely. Because otherwise, I don't know. Otherwise, we're going to be getting 12th at midway point in the outdoor season because, he tweaked his back on Tuesday the week before. And then I imagine the training is super compromised during the week. Yeah, so he's not going to the line with a bunch of confidence that, he put in all the laps and did all the work. So I don't know. I don't have all the information, but based off the information I do have, I would park it. So
I think those Paula acceleration bumps will feel good.
Oh, dude, that place. You want to talk about arm pump. Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm out on that track.
Same.
I'm so far out on that track.
The first two, I could not get the hang of them.
Hangtown, yeah, that's an awkward one too.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for outdoors.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
On to Nashville. On to Nashville.
Can't wait. Early one. I think we're RDL live at 8 a.m. Eastern.
I think 8 or 9. I believe it's 9.
9 would be great. I'll take 9 all day long.
The main show's on at 3 on NBC. Big weekend. Big next 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, I'm bringing Ashley's coming with me this weekend. Going to get a nice little dinner after Saturday because we wrap up early. You're in and out, dude. Coming in Friday, leaving Saturday night. So I had to bring in reinforcements.
There you go. Love it.
Can't wait.
It's going to be fun. Round 13 this weekend, dude. 5 more. Can you believe it? 5 more.
Yes, I can, unfortunately. I'm getting real close to 30, brother. It's coming up. October. It'll be here before you know it.
Wow. Hey, 30s, I was just telling Kenny, 30s are the best. I mean, I haven't lived through my 40s yet, of course, but 30s are so good.
I feel like your 20s is just like collecting information.
Yeah.
And 30s is doing something with that information.
I was talking to some people after the race on Saturday night in St. Louis, and we were kind of talking about this, and they're in their 50s, and they said 30s and 40s are by far the best. And they said the day they turn 50, they feel like it's a little downhill.
Okay.
So,
well, I also
got a
read.
time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to think about 50, but I'm going to enjoy this last year. I'm going to enjoy this summer of 29, dude. We're sending it. JB, you're awesome, and so are you guys. Thanks for listening, supporting us. Means the world. Hope everyone has a great week, and we'll see you in Nashville.
See ya.